Kia ora, everyone, and welcome to today's Māori and Pasifika Super Fair. My name is Sam, and I am dialing in from Prosper, and we're helping to put on today's event. Without further ado, I'd like to throw to Shivani from TupuToa, our wonderful sponsors and co-hosts for today's Māori and Pasifika Careers Fair. I believe Shivani is going to give us a bit of a kirikawa and introduce our speakers for today's panel. Thanks, Shivani. Over to you.
Thank you, Sam. Kia ora tātou. I would like to start us off by beginning in prayer. So can I ask for us to please bow our heads? Manoa mai te mauri nuku, manoa mai te mauri rangi, ko te mauri keo, he mauri tipua. Ka pakaru mai te pō, tau mai te mauri, haumie, puie, taike. Thank you, everyone. So that was what we call a karakia. We do like to start off our get-togethers like that, just to set the scene and also bless the occasion. So yeah, kia ora. My name is Shivani. I am from TupuToa. I'm sorry if you can hear my colleagues cracking up in the background. I am a navigator here at TupuToa, and in case you're wondering what even is TupuToa, we are all about Brown excellence. So we are all about empowering our people and providing leadership opportunities to people who are studying that are also Māori Pasifika. So to get us started, I would like to welcome our guests that we have joining us here today to be on our panel. And I would like to ask you to please introduce yourselves. And Laura, can we please start with you?
Sure. Kia ora koutou, ko whangatawatia te maunga, ko karikura te moana, ko tina na te waka, ko rauma te marae, ko te rarawa te iwi, ko Laura toku ingoa. Kia ora koutou, my name is Laura. I am from Whangarei, but have been living in Auckland for the last 5 years. And I am in my last year of my Bachelor of Laws and Arts at the University of Auckland. And I have spent the summer rotating through a few teams at the Buddle Findlay. At Buddle Findlay, I rotated through the employment team and the property team. For those who don't know, Buddle Findlay is a national full-service law firm. We focus on commercial and public law in New Zealand. We have offices in Auckland, Christchurch and Wellington, and we are New Zealand's collaborative law firm, which really speaks to how we collaborate with our clients to help them be part of a more successful Aotearoa. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Laura. Edu, I'll pass it on to you.
Tēnā tātou katoa, tuatahi ake Shivani e mihi ana I tō taki te karakia I tēnei haora e whakapai ake I tā tātou hui, tēnei ka mihi kia koe tuahine. Uti rā tātou katoa e hono mai nei ko iru tōku ingoa. Hau nei he mokopuna no te kōtū, ko ka wai whakapapa e hono nei au ki ngā iwi o te aupauri o Ngāti Whātua. O Ngāti Kau ki Whangaroa, kia whanau I was at Ngāti Whātua yesterday and I really for Joe Hawke's, Matua Joe Hawke's tangi, that's what that just came out, and then that's on my mum's side and te taha o taku pāpā ko kiwi ko Waikato me te whanau apanu tēnei mihi atu nei. I'm at Chapman Tripp and I'm a fourth year solicitor in our Māori legal team, Te Waka Ture, and yeah, looking forward to this panel session. Kia ora tātou.
Tēnā koe ere. Lastly, I shall pass it off to Chriselle.
Hi, kia ora everybody. Yes, so my name's Chriselle and I am the graduate recruitment specialist here at Chapman Tripp. So I started earlier this year, so haven't been in the role for very long, but yeah, I got stuck in straight away doing graduate recruitment. So our summer clerks and winter clerks, and yeah, it's just been a really fantastic experience so far. I am based in the Auckland office, so we've got offices in Auckland, Christchurch and Wellington, but I'm working from the beautiful Wellington at the moment, so it's nice to be able to yeah, do this online and get to talk to you all this afternoon, so very, very much looking forward to it.
Thank you, Chriselle. And to our audience, thank you for joining us today. We encourage questions, so feel free to put your partai into the chat box, sorry, not into the chat box, into the Q&A box on the bottom of your screen. And I will be keeping an eye on that. But of course, I'm also going to ask some pre-prepared questions as well. So to get us started, Laura, can you please describe what your Buddle Findlay is about? Thank you.
Yeah, so kind of already what I said before, we are New Zealand's collaborative law firm. We specialise in commercial and public law in New Zealand. I mentioned before we've got our 3 offices, and yeah, we are really focused on bringing together our people that we employ and we recruit, as well as our clients, and yeah, working together to create the best version of ourselves and our firm and our clients as we can.
That was great. Thank you, Laura. And my next question for you again, Laura, is what is the most important piece of advice you'd give to students aspiring to be in your position?
I think my biggest piece of advice is really to believe in yourself and to back yourself. I spent a lot of my degree kind of convincing myself I didn't want to work in big law or the commercial sector because I didn't think I'd ever be good enough to do so. I didn't have private school education or ties to the corporate world or really even knew what it meant. But I made a massive mindset shift last year and put myself out there and applied, and am really stoked to say that I'm in my dream job or going into my dream job after my last year at university. And so to anyone considering applying or yeah, having applied or whatever, just believe yourself. You put yourself out there, be ambitious, go to all those networking events that seem much scarier than they are. And yeah, set your sight on what you want and just go for it, because you know, the confidence and the ability to believe in yourself will take you places that you didn't think you could go. So that would be my biggest piece of advice.
That's helpful. Thank you, Laura. Chriselle, so coming from a different perspective, considering that you work with Chapman Tripp, can you please tell us what your best, most important advice would be?
Yeah, so after going through many interviews since I've started and getting to meet lots of different candidates, I think the biggest piece of advice that I have, whether you're going through the interview process or you know, going through your journey, starting your career, is just to be yourself. So that's really evident in all of our graduate, you know, campaign. Our campaign is around growing your own way. So here at Chapman Tripp, I think we, you know, like to think that, you know, everyone here is very different, and you know, we don't have a cookie cutter person that works at Chapman Tripp. So we have people coming from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, yeah, just different walks of life. And, you know, we really value diversity. So when we go through the interview process, we just want you to be you, be as authentic as possible. When you're thinking about your studies, one of the questions, you know, we've had some candidates ask us is, you know, what papers should I be doing? What electives should I be doing? And we just say, you know, just focus on what you enjoy, and then, you know, your career will yeah, come from that. So like I said, you know, don't feel like you have to fit into a mold. Yeah, be yourself, and yeah, see where your career goes. So hopefully that helps everybody.
Edu, moving on to you. So in 3 words, can you please describe the culture of Chapman Tripp?
3 words. Gee, I feel like the pressure's on at the moment. I'd say it's definitely, I'd say this is a phrase, high intensity in terms of the mahi. But another word, I guess, attached to that is quality, and that the mahi that we aim to produce, well, we aim for the highest standard when doing that mahi. And then I guess the last word is that it's definitely, well, culture, I guess, in that there is an expectation that an environment that contributes to an expectation or a culture that that's positive. So yeah, Sorry, that was way more than 3 words.
Oh, that's so good. I'm sure the Tauira appreciate that. Laura, same question for you, please. So can you please describe your organisation in 3 words, or a sentence or a phrase?
Yeah, so collaborative, as mentioned already, and then I think inclusive with everything we do, and exciting, I think, would be my 3 words.
That's great, thank you. Okay, coming back to you, Chriselle. What professional development opportunities are there at Chapman Tripp that the Tauira on Zoom with us today can look forward to?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot from, that we do offer, starting from, if you start as a winter clerk, summer clerk, or when you join as a law clerk, anyone that goes through our clerkships, they do go through a very good induction program. So, you learn the basics from how to turn on your computer, the different systems that we use, and lots of different trainings as well. We've got a CT Academy, so Chapman Tripp Academy. So it's on every single Tuesday at 9:30, and that's when we have regular training sessions with the whole of our Chapman Tripp team. It could be anything from soft skills, it could be around negotiating, or something that's more legal specific around say international trade laws and that type of thing. So there's definitely lots of learning opportunities here. We will also put our staff on different development courses as well. I know one of the partners in our property team in Auckland is going through the TupuToa course. TupuToa, I'm not sure if anyone knows about that course, but there's lots of different trainings and courses and that type of thing. So that's something that we strive really well here at Chapman Tripp, just that ongoing learning and development.
Thank you for that. Laura, I've got the same partai for you, please. So what professional career development opportunities are there at Buddle Findlay?
Yeah, sure. So for summer clerks specifically, having just rotated as a summer clerk, we had about a 2-week induction similar to CT, where they just run us through all the technology, really down to how to turn on a computer. And because the technology is super different to anything at law school. So it's great to have that time to learn, and there's no pressure to do it at any pace or anything. And we got to meet the different teams and people throughout the firm and just get a better sense of that working environment during those 2 weeks. Then throughout the summer, we have a Summer Clerk Academy, which it's a program that's run throughout the summer where there's different components that us as summer clerks have to engage in and complete. This gives us a chance to kind of work with other teams, meet other teams as well, and really kind of facilitate our learning throughout the summer. Part of that academy, we also had some different seminars each week, just about the super basic stuff about how to work at a corporate commercial law firm that is quite foreign to us, and some specific stuff about working at Buddle. And then within the teams that you rotate through, you're normally the only summer clerk in each team. So this kind of gives you a really intimate sense of ability to develop, because you are partnered with a buddy who's a few years older than you, and a partner as your supervisor. So you've got those connections with those 2 people to kind of help you make sure you're on track and that you are growing and you're learning throughout the summer. And I think being the only summer clerk in that team really meant it was a lot more hands-on work. You were across a lot of matters. So that was all how, I guess, we got to grow and learn throughout the summer. And then the HR team had passed on kind of some further information about what we do throughout our for Buddle throughout career development. So more generally, we have in-house courses, national seminars, and junior fee earner programs running throughout the year. So these in-house courses focuses on a variety of topics, including legal project management, EQ and unconscious bias, delegation and coaching, and business development. We then have we have external professionals that come in to take those courses, and anyone can sign up for them. We also have national seminars that are informative sessions on some topical issues that are mostly run by people from the firm. Anyone can go to these again. And then we have our junior fee earner program, which is like it's a weekly run for law clerks, and a crash course pretty much on all the different subgroups we have and just continually learning new skills. And then, just last little bit, we have also just some ad hoc development opportunities like Te lessons and some, similar to what CT run, with some soft skills seminars and different things like that. So yeah, lots going on at Buddle.
Yeah, sounds like a lot. And don't apologize, Laura. We want to hear this info, so thank you for sharing. And a reminder again, whānau, please check in your pātai in the Q&A box at the bottom. I don't want to be asking all the questions. We want to hear from you as well. So please feel free to get your thoughts down, and the panelists will be able to help you out with that. Coming back to you, Edu, I can imagine that for our tauira joining us today, it can be quite nerve-wracking to think about going into these big companies. So can you please tell us about your mentorship and the guidance that you had when you first started with CT?
I guess that was sort of key actually to me, infiltrating this space, which, to be honest, in my years at university, the earlier years at university, I didn't even turn my mind to the possibility of working in a commercial law firm, let alone the biggest one in the country. But it was she was one of my mentors at university, Erin Carr. She was in this specific Māori legal team when it was basically like starting out, and she had sort of planted the seed in terms of at least considering the opportunity of working in a commercial law firm. And I guess most Māori law students, and it's reflected as well in the Māori legal profession, lean towards careers in either criminal law, family law. Those are kind of the main ones, but a bit of property here and there maybe, which obviously those are all very important practice areas, but the opportunity to work in commercial law firms, I guess it's just not something that's much thought about across the Māori law student corpus. And yeah, as I said before, that's reflected in the profession. But I think me being lucky enough to have that relationship with Erin, who was working here in this space, opened up my eyes to the opportunities for iwi Māori working in the commercial legal realm, and particularly in the space of post-treaty settlement, governance entities, and just the growth of the Māori economy and Māori business generally. I think that's something that's become quite clear to me now through my years working here. But I think that is key, yeah, your pathway, Shivani, in terms of ensuring there is some continuity or succession, and it's a very Māori way of thinking about things as well in terms of tuakana teina, and thinking about the longevity of of anything in its life cycle. It's important that there's sustainability and handed down through the generation, so to speak. So it's definitely something that I try and push to my teina or other young Māori law students who are just coming out of university now, who were my teina when I was at uni, just trying to spread the idea, I guess, a bit more in terms of being confident to enter this space and knowing that it is actually quite a beneficial space to enter into. And I suppose that, yeah, it does align with what Laura was saying right at the start in terms of believing in yourself, and just knowing first and foremost that we as Māori Pasifika, we come from worlds, paradigms and cultures that set us apart from others, and actually mean that we're more than qualified to be working in these contexts, and we can do the Pākehā stuff and our own stuff as well. We can do the Pākehā stuff better than some of the Pākehās, and we just need to be like confident in ourselves and just accept that first and foremost within ourselves, And then I think that would armour us up pretty well to be, yeah, as I said before, infiltrate these spaces, which are, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, they're definitely still majority Pākehā places, and there are going to be challenges. I've faced challenges, we all do, and these are challenges that only we would understand, but it's important that we stick at it, and it's not something we're not used to as well. It's just the life that we live. Koe anō, yeah, koe rā taku.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Edu. Laura, I'll ask you the same part.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, that's a good. So please tell us about the support and the guidance you had in terms of transitioning into Buddle Findlay and just embracing your culture, really.
Yeah, I think pretty similar to what I said at the start, and pretty similar to what you just said as well. I think it really just comes down to believing in yourself and to be confident that you are deserving to be in the position that you're in or to work in the job that you're in, because you know, if you don't believe that, I think it shows quite a lot to the recruitment agents or the employers or whatever it is. But I think I felt it was a hard mindset shift to be able to do that, but I think to get through a law degree in itself, that's hard work. It's super hard work, and to have done that regardless, I think especially navigating who you are, your identity, your culture, all of that, you are worthy to be applying, to be working in this area. For me, with my transition from university with everything to Buddle, I was also a similar position to Edu. I got to meet with one of I think it was the first female Māori partner that was made partner at Buddle after my interview, and I had a really just kind of pivotal chat with her about although, yeah, it isn't very common to move into a commercial space as a Māori law student. It just never even seemed like something I could do or was on the cards or I even knew what it was. But, you know, it's so important to be Māori in those spaces and to be able to bring your culture into places that are predominantly Pākehā. And the chat that I had with that partner, she said that, and she said it is so important to be there and to be Māori in this space because there's not enough of it at all, and you are working with Māori clients and Māori businesses, and yeah, to be able to bring your culture into a place like that is so important, and yeah, more than needed in this space. So I think knowing that, and not, if you want to go for 100%, if you want to work in a different area or whatever it is, you do what you want to do. But if there's a small part of you that dreams of working big, you go and do that, and you be Māori in this area, and you help you know, this area become more cultural really, and more inclusive. So yeah, that's a long-winded answer to a short question.
We love the long-winded answers. Thank you, Laura. So I'm thinking Edu and Laura have given us some great feedback in terms of what we can do once we get in the door. But taking a step back, Christelle, I'll come to you and ask you, please, what does your organisation look for in an applicant? And do you have any tips and tricks as to how Aotearoa can progress on to the next round after applying?
Yeah, totally, for sure. So as I have stressed, you know, many times in terms of, you know, what we look for at Chapman Tripp, you know, we're so open to diversity. You know, we don't expect anyone to fit into a particular mold, but, you know, there are certain things that, you know, that do stand out. And I think one of the things are people that are curious. So, you know, we understand that people joining Chapman Tripp in our winter or summer clerkship programs, you know, they're still very early in their careers, you know, still going through their studies, still, you know, going through taking different papers, and you know, it's really hard for them to know exactly what areas they want to focus into, especially because what you learn at law school is quite different to the real world. So yeah, people, we are looking for people who, very curious, open to learning, really enthusiastic, people that are self-starters as well. So yeah, if you've got those qualities, and we do see you thriving and doing really well here at Chapman Tripp. And yeah, people that are great with people, because at the end of the day, working in a commercial law firm is dealing with people. It's essentially customer service. So we want people who have a really fantastic work ethic, people that are great at building relationships, delivering excellent service. So yeah, so you'll come a long way if you display those things, in your CV during the interview process. We get candidates as part of our interview process to complete an online video cover letter. So it's a little video showcasing yourself. Yeah, so if you let those things shine, that that will really set you apart. And sorry, Shivani, what was the second question?
Oh no, that was it. I think you've answered it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That was great. Good
Great.
insider tips. Yeah, Laura, did you have something to add? You're unmuted.
Oh, no.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, Edu, now I've got just a question I've thought of for you now. So putting yourself into the shoes of the people that are on Zoom with us today, what do you wish you had known before starting at CT?
I guess kind of what I was saying before, like I wish I had come to the realization a lot earlier that the stuff that I learned just growing up at home that I just thought was like normal is actually like the really important stuff when you get to doing mahi like this. Like it's like the little, those, you think they're little things, but you look back and think, oh man, those actually hold a lot of weight or significance. And yeah, I'm speaking particularly in terms of my upbringing, in terms of te reo, te reo Māori, things quite frankly that I was quite ashamed of at one point in my life. And then I come now and I wish I never was ashamed about that. And I wish I came to the realization earlier that not only are these things valuable, but they're unique, and that's I guess is what contributes to their value as well. And there's something that, as I said before, set us apart. And I guess the learning or doing all the book work, that's still important as well in terms of at law school, making sure you tick off all the boxes there and make sure you do all the mahi and your readings and stuff. But it's those layers over and above that that are important. So yeah, I wish I had realized that earlier, and then I probably would have been a lot more sure of myself. And I'm still quite early in my career anyway, so I'm glad I've even come to that realization now, because it gives me a lot of confidence and puts me in good stead, I feel. So hopefully that can be, others can experience it as well, those who are listening. Me whakapono tātou ki a tātou anō.
Thank you, Edu. And the same partai for you, Laura. So is there anything you wish you had done differently that maybe the people on Zoom can do differently in your position?
I think, because I only spent the summer, so I'm sure I've still got a whole lot to learn as well. But I think more practically, going into your first job in this sector, I think it's super important to not be afraid and just be able to be yourself and be vulnerable in that space and ask those questions that might seem a little bit trivial or might be the stupid questions that you're terrified to ask, because I'm sure I can speak for all law firms as well, that they just want to see you grow and they just want to facilitate that growth, and there is no question that's stupid and there's no question that's too trivial. And so I think going into that space and not having this huge anxiety that you're going to be out of your depth and have no idea what's going on, because I honestly had that. I had no commercial or corporate experience. I'm not doing a commerce degree. I hadn't done any law electives that had anything to do with corporate or anything. So I thought I was going to be way out of my depth, and I had so much anxiety going into the summer because of that, and thinking I wouldn't even level up to any of these other clerks that had all this experience and these connections and all this background history. But it doesn't matter. You're if they've employed you, and gosh, if you've even gotten through the first stage of recruitment, you're worthy of being there, you're good enough to be there, they want you to be there. And so ask those questions, be vulnerable, be ready to learn, and just you walk your own path. And that's probably would be my I don't know what I wish I knew going into the summer, is that it's definitely not as scary and over my head and over anyone's head as they might think it would be.
That's so inspiring. Thank you, Laura. I'm sure the Tauira appreciate hearing that. And I think it's good to be reminded of that from time to time as well. Okay, coming back to you, Chriselle. In one sentence, can you please tell us why students should apply for an opportunity at CT?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good one. So I would say, just go for it. As I said, don't think that you have to fit this cookie cutter mold. We're very open here at Chapman Tripp. We value all different, perspectives, pathways, backgrounds, that type of thing. You'll be surprised, by the different opportunities that Chapman Tripp have here for you. We are a large commercial law firm. We are an award-winning one too. And so we work with some amazing clients. It can be from as little as, the new playground that's near the Parliament building. So we're helping out with that, to something as big as, acquisitions and mergers of big companies, MIQ, that type of thing. So the work that you get to work on is super exciting. And you have lots of support along the way as well, from the people and culture team, from your buddies that you're partnered up with, supervising partners, your coaches. And even if you aren't successful in getting a role with us, no doubt you'll have a good experience going through the recruitment process, and and take some really good valuable learnings from that as well. So yeah, we do hope to see you next year. Sorry, that was more than one sentence.
I should have said a couple paragraphs.
Obviously very passionate about working at Chapman Tripp, so.
It's a great sign, yeah. Okay, so we have our first partai that's come through in the Q&A box. So this is for Laura. Laura, can you please tell us how you manage your time so well, and what are some tips you can offer our tauira online?
Sure. I think time management is huge to success and to achieving any of your goals or anything. For me, like practically, I have a diary that I use religiously, and 100 different to-do lists, and Google Calendar, and everything I can to structure my days. And I think practically, this is very practical. I spend a day on the weekend setting out what I'm still at university, so this is also a uni tip as well, as that you can take through into a grad role. But I set out fully what I need to have done this week, and then I block it out into the days that I need to have it done. I block out periods throughout each day where I need to be doing X, Y, and Z. And I think I also block out times for gym and for social occasions and for all the other important aspects of your life that are not just university or work. And I think being at university and doing a law degree, which is huge time commitment as it is, you are in a great position to develop some really good time management skills that you can then take over into your work when you start as a grad. And I think that is also really important, being able to transfer those skills. And so when I started as a clerk, being able to organize my inbox in a certain way, and then I had run sheets for each day because as a clerk, you're over so many different matters at the same time a lot of the time. And so knowing kind of who asked you to do what, when they wanted it back, when you need to get back to that person, it's all great just to have it in front of you and to be able to look at that, refer back to it and follow it throughout your day. That it shows initiative to your supervisors, as well as just keeps you on track for what you're doing throughout your day. So for those tauira who still are at uni, use this time to really develop your time management skills, because it's so beneficial and useful when you get into your career as well. So get yourself a diary or use Apple Calendar or whatever it is, but great tools available to all of you. So planning, to-do lists, all of that's how it works for me, but works in different ways for different people too, I'm sure.
Those are some helpful tips. Thank you so much, Laura. Edu, I'll ask the same partai of you. So do you have any time management tips to share with us today?
Yeah, well, I don't want to avoid, I don't want to repeat, I want to avoid repeating what Laura was just saying in terms of having a diary and Google Calendar and stuff. Yeah, definitely TupuToa. I was an avid user of both of those things at uni and still am now. And a lot of those skills that I developed at uni have transferred over to Mahi and are still very useful. So yeah, nothing actually much to add to what Laura's already said.
Yep, that's all good. We've got one more question here in the box, and I think it'll be our last one for this panel. So we'll throw it back to you, Laura. What is the funniest experience you've had at Mahi?
There was a lot of good times over the summer. I think I started my summer clerkship during the lockdown, so we started everything online, which was very unfortunate, but it meant that when things started to open up, I think the firm really used every opportunity they could to get us out and doing stuff. So we did we went lawn bowls one day, which was great, and some partners took it very seriously, and I was terrible at it, so I don't think I will be participating in any lawn bowls again. But and we went out for dinners, and there was a lot of social just some great social interactions with the firm that really helped us summer clerks make us feel at home and fit in after starting on lockdown. The funniest experience, I can't think of one really, not specifically, but I think a lot of the firms have, we do anyway, we've got open plan desks and everything. So it's just, a lot of it is you work hard for sure. When you're working hard, but there is a lot of fun times to be had as well. There's a lot of connections to be made and a lot of events that are always put on. But yeah, so it's a good time. That's nothing specific to say, but it's all pretty fun.
An overall good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edu, I'll tweak the partai for you a little bit. So can you please tell us about your most positive experience with CT, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh yeah, ka pai. This is an easy one for me. Probably one of the most memorable moments I've had to date in terms of my career here is last year attending actually it was not really one moment, but the chance to represent Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei in the High Court in their judicial review against the Crown in respect of cross claims. And through that have been able to establish a pretty strong relationship with Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei. But I think one of the most memorable moments was when we wrapped up the trial and went up to TupuToa Whenua, which is their whare tupuna in Ōrākei, up at Takaparafo, and then the whānau there singing waiata and acknowledging us. And even, as I said before, yesterday, we went up to Matua Joe Hawk's Hui Mate, he's there at the moment, to pay our respects to them and the whānau. So that's being able to be Māori and a lawyer at the same time in one space is, for me, yeah, it was an honour and it continues to be.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Edu. And I think that's a beautiful note to finish off on. So just before we close up this section, I'd like to thank you, Laura, Edu, and Chriselle for your time today, for being vulnerable, for being open, and being receptive to all of the partai today. And I'm sure the Tauira online appreciate that as well. So thank you, and I shall pass it back to you, Sam.
Fantastic. Thanks, team, for an absolutely super insightful panel today.